We're gonna get our inner Rick Grimes on in this episode of Airsoftology Reviews. So yes, this big ol' hand cannon, this airsoft monster, is the Dan Wesson 715 by ASG. And by all accounts, it is probably one of the larger handguns you're gonna be able to pick up for airsoft. And it is a monster. It is made fully tip to toe of metal with the exception of the rubber grip on it. So you are definitely getting a very heavy replica. Externally, you're looking at full trades because this is licensed Dan Wesson. So through ASG, you're actually going to have the Dan Wesson markings on the one side. You're going to see the 357 Magnum down the other with the other Dan Wesson, and of course the ASG logo. Also on the rubber grip, here you're going to get the Dan Wesson stamp here on the side. Moving on for the functionality of the actual gun, you do get a front and rear sight. Now the front sight's obviously not adjustable, it's a pistol, but the rear sight is elevation adjustable. So it has a small flathead screw you can move up and down on it, so you can actually adjust that. But in my case, the factory setting is just fine, didn't have any trouble with it because this is a revolver. Now let's face it, since it is a revolver, you're gonna have some interesting time. You're gonna have to pull the trigger pretty hard to get this thing to fire every single time because unlike your double action counterparts on the semi-auto side, that hammer goes and sits forward after each shot. So on that, let you know it is a pretty difficult trigger pull, but again, it's not that hard. Your first trigger pull, however, you can go ahead and just pull it back. So your first one can be light. Also between shots, if you're gonna use this for a single shot, you can recock that hammer every single time. Also, there is a safety in this, which is a pretty cool touch. Little switch right here behind the trigger, you flip it forward, and now you can't do anything with the pistol. I thought that was fantastic to add that in there because revolvers typically don't have a safety, and this being, if you get it caught on something, you could accidentally set it off. Moving on to the grip here, like I said, it is rubber, it's contoured, it's comfortable for lefties and righties, and that's good. So everything about this revolver, with the exception of where you drop the shells, is pretty much the same, but it's not even something you're gonna reach with your fingers. So I would probably dare to say this is a pretty safe bet to say this one is an ambi pistol. Inside of the grip itself, you're actually gonna reach in the bottom, you're gonna flip this off, and you're gonna take the edge of the grip off. Inside is where the 12-gram cartridge goes. This is a CO2 powered revolver, so you're looking at CO2 power. In fact, they do make two versions. This version in silver is what they call the high power version, and then they have one that's kind of a gunmetal gray, a much darker color, which is a low power. We're gonna get to the differences of the two and what you're looking at from a Chrono standpoint when we get to that section. But we're going to continue on. What's also good, what I love they included in this pistol is not only, because it's 12 gram, you're gonna need that Allen key here at the bottom. You don't have like the little tab that flips down, which is nice because it makes it look nice and clean. But in the grip, you can flip it open. You have that Allen key built into the grip, so you can take it and you're able to actually use this and tighten and untighten the 12 gram between changes. And rounding out all the functionality and externals of this gun, of course, a little lever switch here opens up and exposes where the little fake shells live. You can actually press in the bar just like a real revolver, they'll pop up, and you can dump all the shells out into your hands. What's also neat is there are two different versions of shells for this revolver, and like I said in the Chrono section, we're gonna cover that as well. This, I'm using the low power shells, and there's also a high power shell. So even if you do buy the high power version, and you can dumb it down. Also, you don't have to worry about putting all the shells in one at a time. If you want to, you can. What's kind of neat is included in the packaging, and you can buy spare, are these little speed loaders. So you can preload them and then actually just simply drop it in, line it up, press the button. If I can do it with one hand here, it'd be fantastic. And then boom, you just drop 6 rounds into your pistol. So you can do pretty quick reloads on this 6-shooter, no problem. All right, so taking this thing out to the Chrono, you're seeing really big numbers. Like I said, this is the high power version. This is shooting well north of 400 feet per second. So in its high power form with the shells that are included with it, and they're actually color coded. They're the dark ended shells. There's two different versions, as you can see here in the photo. There's a dark version, which is the high power shells included, or there's a light color, kind of almost a gold color end shell, which are the low power shells. Once you put those in, you get a drastic drop down to in the mid 200 feet per second, which is incredible, big difference. So you're looking at mid 4s all the way down to mid to high 200s. So you're gonna have something that's gonna be usable pretty much anywhere you can take it. Now, if you guys want something that is a little more power in between, definitely look at the low power version. It's the gray one. You're gonna find something in the mid 300s that should be usable just about anywhere. Also because you can switch out different weight BBs in here, and of course with the power you're going to want to do that if you want to use this for like target shooting, let's say, with the higher power version, or if you happen to live somewhere crazy that does allow that higher limits. The greatest touch on this pistol, and it's a rarity to find this in a revolver, is this little tiny hole right here in the top. It is an adjustable hop-up system, and it's something you don't find on revolvers. So you can dial this thing in, you can take some incredibly long shots, and in fact, when I was at GI Water Wars, I was getting shots with this revolver, even using the low power shells, from like 50, 60, even 70 feet away, one shot taking out an opponent. So I will tell you, on the battlefield, I had no concerns once I dialed this thing in with the weight BB I was using, knocking people down from a long distance away. So guys, if you're looking for a big revolver that's versatile, and it does come with accessories too, you can actually get a holster for it, and if I can find the pocket I hid the other thing in, I think it's back here in the back, that's right, a rail system that will actually fit over top of the rail so you can add a lower and upper accessory. So you can actually put a scope on the top, and you can actually even put like a laser or an optic or a light or something at the bottom if you want to do that. Or if you guys are doing YouTube filming, a camera, definitely check out the Dan Wesson 715. It is a bit on the heavy side, but what the trade-off is, you do get this little mini hand cannon. So guys, if you want to learn more about this pistol, as always, I'll have a link down in the description below. You can click it and check it out. As always, thanks for tuning in. If you're not currently a subscriber, click on the logo on the bottom right or in the description and you'll always be in the know. Plus, if you like what you saw in this video and want to learn more, I've got a link down there as well. And if you haven't had your airsoft fixed just yet, click on the videos on the right or use the info button at the top of the screen for more. And as the saying goes, everyone has an opinion, and I do want to hear yours. So give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down on this video, comment, and share.